Simplified Chaos, episode 47.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hi, wonderful friends. Welcome to Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm with my co-host and husband, Nicholas.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode. Jilly, what are we getting into today?
Today's episode is all about curating a tourist mindset, kind of the why and the how we have kind of developed this tourist mindset, because it's led us to be a lot happier.
Yeah. And you can have local adventures for less money, but that's part of the benefits. So you're going to have to stay tuned to figure out what we're talking about. Anyways, before we dive into our tourist mindset, Jilly, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful just to have awesome neighbors.
We do have pretty awesome neighbors.
I think sometimes I take for granted the neighborhood we're in, but man, we know pretty much everyone in our little court.
Yeah.
And the other day, Lucille...
Well, it also helps that I'm the Homeowners Association president. Thank you very much.
You don't really do that much, let's just be honest.
Unanimous vote.
Jeez. Out of 12 homes?
No, 10.
10, sorry.
10 homes.
I was trying to give you more credit, honey.
Only like 6 homes were present. It was more than half.
Are you done?
I'm done.
All right.
So yes, your neighbors, our neighbors.
Yeah, so the other day, Lucille wandered over to our neighbor's house 2 doors down, and she was just interacting with their kids, and they have 4 kids, and there were some other neighborhood kids over there, and it's been getting darker earlier, so she kind of has the light on, and the kids all play in the yard, and Lucille just loves watching and observing, and she kept taking the basketball, and then she would take the soccer ball, and then she would get on the wagon. So it was just so rad that the kids get along with her. They're just in awe by her. They're like, what is she doing? Why is she doing that? It's just funny hearing their reactions, and then that we all get along, and it's cool. It's like my yard's your yard, and my stuff is your stuff.
No, the cul-de-sac is everybody's yard. There's no boundaries or anything like that. And I used to get kind of, antsy about that. It's like, I'm growing grass here. I don't care anymore. Kids are going to be kids. And I was a kid, and I remember back, I was like, I went through a lot of people's yards.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a community. It really is.
But we really have that communal vibe going where we just share everybody's space, and we're not afraid to talk and communicate to each other and have conversations. It's not like we go straight in our house and say, just do the wave. We just really get along, and I'm grateful for the people in our court. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for Easy Pass.
Okay, because of traveling.
All traveling. So I had a meeting today in McLean, Virginia. If anybody doesn't know where that is, it is around the Washington, D.C. Beltway. And no matter what time of day during the week, the Beltway is usually always a mess. Our meeting this afternoon was at noon. Got down there. I left my house probably about a little after 10 just to make sure I had enough time. And I got there early, but of course I hit traffic on the way there. So on my way home, we had lunch after our meeting. And I pull up Google, and normally I take the northern loop of the Beltway. Google said it'll save me 18 minutes to go the southern loop of the Beltway. I was like, okay, cool. I can take a little bit different route. It's a little bit longer. But then as I got closer to getting onto the Beltway, it's like, if you want to save that 18 minutes, you got to take the express lane. And I was like, I'll do that. So it might have cost me a little bit of money, but I don't usually take toll roads. So for me, it's just like, okay, for me to get home at a reasonable time, it's worth my money to get on the toll road.
Did you have your rolls to pay the tolls?
I had plenty of rolls. It's probably coming out of my account now. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you value your time, and I don't want to spend my whole time in a car. And today I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to take that Easy Pass lane.
That's awesome. I probably should get one. I keep saying I'm not a huge, I'm going to get it just in case, but I feel like having an Easy Pass is There's no
Well,
like
that's the
extra.
way that the government can monitor where you're going.
Oh man. Okay, maybe I won't then.
That's fine. I mean, if you're paranoid about that kind of thing, then
I'm
you don't want to
not.
get an easy pass. But
I just don't. I don't have it, and it's funny. I really rarely have cash either because I remember the last time I went through a toll booth, I had to just get my picture taken because I was like, shit.
well, eventually it's all going to go to the video toll where you don't even need an easy pass. They're getting ready to do that with the bridges around here. So, yeah. That's my gratitude for the day.
This bee's knees is pretty good too. So thanks for my cocktail.
You're
tonight.
very welcome.
Thank you.
I went with the Negroni and went with a lemon peel as the garnish.
For anyone who's new, we usually have a cocktail
Yes.
per episode, just one.
We usually don't talk about them. You might hear them clinking in the background. I have a big block of ice in mine.
I noticed I was probably slurping.
Well, you
and
definitely tinged it
on the bed.
Yeah.
Because our studio is our bedroom.
Yeah, our podcast studio is our floor right next to our bed, and we have a little table that our microphone's propped up to. So
It's rather sophisticated.
it is very minimalistic, if you will.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, that was a longer gratitude segment than normal.
It was,
But
Nicholas.
yeah, we've got a lot to be grateful for.
We
Especially
do.
this time of year, it's just about Thanksgiving, and it really kind of makes you think a little bit more about what you are grateful for. We try to do it every day, and we obviously do it every week on this podcast, but it's that time of year. So Jilly,
Yes, yes.
let's talk a little tourist mindset.
I am pumped for this topic because
This was like an epiphany
It
that we had
was.
the other day.
we have noticed we have just stumbled upon some gems local in the area, and we realized that I think we hadn't noticed them before because we weren't really aware and completely mindful of the area we live in. I guess because it's considered our home, we always are like, let's get out of the area and go to another place. But I think recently we had this epiphany that I think we've found more gems in our area because we have been more open and looking at things with fresh eyes, even
Yeah.
if it is our normal or familiar area, because we've kind of cultivated this tourist mindset. And in case you need a definition of what a tourist is, a person who is traveling or visiting a place for pleasure. It's usually a place other than home. And we kind of noticed we were kind of cultivating this mindset of looking at places like we were visiting for the first time, and we had that excitement about it. And there was a lot of other attributes that came when we started doing this, and we started finding ourselves to be a lot happier because we would discover these places that weren't that far away,
Right.
that gave us new experiences. We met new people, and we were really having a great time doing it. So really, tourist mindset just means just starting to pay attention more, just being more mindful. And I think sometimes we forget to do that when we're in our home environment because it's our everyday, because it's our quote unquote normal. We kind of forget the excitement about it because we see it all the time. We forget to see it with
Yeah.
new eyes about what is so amazing about it, like what drew us to this place to begin with. I think sometimes we forget about why we picked this place to be our home. And I think by cultivating a tourist mindset, it kind of helps ground you back to that gratitude you had for why you picked it and the amazingness of what it is, and that you don't always have to travel outside to get that experience.
So yeah, and I kind of want to set the stage for why we decided this was a good topic, and kind of dive into what happened this past weekend to really kind of, a light bulb really did go off in our head when we were having dinner. So we had an interesting day planned this past Saturday. Like, we had nothing planned. This was one of our weekends where we could do whatever we want. We had space this weekend. And we were like, okay, we were going to go down to Annapolis. We wanted to pick up coffee. We were going to, sit there and kind of chill. We were going to go down and walk around the dock area. And then we were going to have an early dinner. We had Lucille with us, and, we were going to have an early dinner at a restaurant that we typically go to for pizzas down in Annapolis called Fox's Den. They have really good wood fire pizzas. Their cocktails are on point.
Yep.
Yeah. So, man, that did not go as planned. We went down to Annapolis. We got coffee. Lucille was getting a little tired, a little cranky, or just, she was feeling her feels that afternoon. She wasn't acting out, but we kind of knew that, okay, this may not work as planned. And then the light bulb struck that we didn't even bring the stroller down to Annapolis. And we're like, yeah, she was going to walk around for 2 hours while we waited for dinner, or we were going to carry her around for 2 hours. And so I go to Jill, I was like, you know what? Let's go back home, and then You were going to see if your mom could watch Lucille that evening, which, of course, she wanted to do that.
Grateful for her.
So we were going to go down. We were still going to go back down to Annapolis and go to Fox's Den for dinner. As we got closer to when we were going to go to dinner, Lucille was just really being, I don't want to say cranky, but she was just...
Her molars are coming in on top, and she was feeling her feels, and she was not happy.
She's not happy in the environment she was in.
Yes, and we were nervous that if we went farther away that, I don't know, she was going to be a nuisance to my mom, and I kind of felt bad being that far away.
Yeah, I didn't want to just hand her off to your mom when she was...
See you later, have fun with the cranky baby.
It's a cranky baby.
Toddler.
So we were
on our baby.
Yeah, she's our baby. She'll always be our baby.
True.
But, God, that just reminded me of Mariah Carey. You'll always be my baby.
Can I roller skate?
You can.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, let's drop her off at... And part of the change of scenery is we dropped her off at your mom's house. Normally your mom would come over here and watch her, but we were like, change of scenery might be nice. We dropped her off over there so she can be with your mom, her aunt and cousin, second cousin, I guess. And we were like, you know what? We're just going to stay local just in case, we can always order our food and then bring it back.
True.
We'll stay close. Text us if you need us. Call us if you need us. We'll be right around the corner. And literally when I say right around the corner, this place is literally 1.5 miles, if that, from your mom's house. And it's a place that we pass often, and we've been there before, and we've had great experiences before, but I guess because it's just 2 miles away from us, we kind of we don't give it its due
diligence. Yeah.
Due diligence.
We're always like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Instead of, let's go 2 minutes down the road.
And we were just sitting there and having a great cocktail, both of us, at the bar. And we had I sat down and looked at the menu and knew exactly what Jill wanted to do at that point. It was, of course, we're doing the beet and arugula salad to start off with, and then splitting a pie. But as we're I think it was when we were eating the salad, we were like, we knew the pizza was going to be good, but we're like, damn, this place is really good. There's a lot of people here. We got there just before it got really crowded, but there's a reason why it's busy. They have good food. They've got good drinks. The service was super friendly.
They even split our salad.
And this place is called Founders. I don't want to not mention that, but it's called Founders, and it's right in Glen Burnie / Pasadena. It's right on the line there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a great evening, and that's when the light bulb went off. And Jill, I think you said it's we really need to have a tourist mindset. And when we started thinking about the different places that we've tried in the past couple months, we were like, you know what? We've kind of unconsciously been doing this, but now that we've had this light bulb moment, it's time to be more intentional about it.
Yes, I agree. And I kind of thought of, I guess, the way we think when we're on vacation. There are certain attributes that we have that I think we don't realize, but I've kind of narrowed them down to about
45.
To about 5 of what we've developed in order to have this tourist mindset. And one of them is gratitude.
Yes.
I think when you do travel and you're on vacation, already you're like, man, I am grateful I'm on vacation. And I think by having a tourist mindset wherever you go, you're like, I'm grateful that we're here, wherever it is.
I'm grateful that this is in my backyard, that I could just drive 2 miles and go to this great restaurant. So yeah.
So I think
gratitude.
By having that gratitude already, it's like, all right, we are seeing things with fresh eyes and we are appreciating just what it is wherever we are.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought that we have more when we have this mindset is that we are more open. So when you are in vacation, you're more open to new experiences, to new people, to new cultures. So I find that when we're more open, we are more open to just what our area has to offer, even if it's just 5 minutes down the road.
Right.
Another thing I had was that I think that we've kind of stayed more humble in that when you're a visitor or visiting someplace new where you're not familiar with, you're just more open to learning instead of saying well, I know this place, I'm an expert and I have nothing more to learn. I think that by being humble in our own home environment, no matter how many years we've been here, there's something that's going to change and it's going to be different every day. So I think that by humbling ourselves that, you know what, maybe we don't know this area as well as we do because there could be a new restaurant, a new coffee shop. There could be something new in this area that we don't know. I think by not acting like we know it all just kind of helps us keep that mindset as well.
It is definitely very humbling because when you think about, this county, this state, this country on the grander scheme of things, there's just so much to explore, and you tend to forget some of the things that are right, in your backyard. And it's because you want to journey out and you think that you do know everything around here, but yeah, there's hidden gems everywhere. And it's great to find those and to be open to explore those opportunities.
And I don't know if you notice this, but when we do go on vacation and there's new places, you have this joy radiating from you because you're someplace new, which means you interact more with people and you're connecting more with people. And I find that when you have this tourist mindset, it keeps you just open to having more conversation with people, even if it's right down the street. Like, they interact with you just instead of just saying like, yeah, or you might ask them a question like, hey, where are you from? Or, what brings you here? I think that you make more connections with people, which I think is so, like, we are social beings.
Yes.
So I think by having that tourist mindset, we are more open to connecting with people.
Absolutely.
And just having those conversations, even if they are right down the street, we notice that there's a lot of common ground we have, maybe just besides the location. Maybe it's,
it's even like, what's the inspiration for the location? Obviously,
Yes.
like Founders was built around the founding fathers, but, I'd love to, if we ever get the chance to talk with like the person who owned it or whatever, it's just like, well, what was your idea behind the concept? How'd you come up with it? Is there a certain piece of history around here that really, made you think? So it's, those kinds of things, really love to learn because you don't know everything about your area.
And I think this brings me to my last one is just when you travel, you are always curious. You're curious about the area.
Whiskers.
I don't know how many episodes you've said that on. Or maybe it's just because I hear it every day. I think that, obviously when you go someplace new, you're going to be curious because you don't know the area. So I think by just having that curiosity, no matter where you are, it just keeps encouraging you to just ask questions and to connect with new things and new people, and just to kind of have that novice mindset versus that expert mindset. Like, I know it all and this is my home. I mean, it is my home, but still, like, there's a lot of, man, this area is huge when you think about it.
Yeah.
There's so many nooks and crannies in the city where we live that I feel like I don't know it all. And I love that we've kind of realized that this mindset has kind of helped make us happier because we are realizing that there's a lot of things we don't know and we're discovering, and it's
yeah, I mean, we've
really
not only
cool.
restaurants, but we found new parks to explore. We've found, what was the other thing that we found new places to visit overnight, even that aren't too far away. So yeah, I mean, the just kind of opening our eyes, and again, like, it's become more intentional now that we've really kind of thought this through. But we've done some pretty cool exploring in this last year, within just our area. And
I think what really made this come about was that the fact that now we have Lucille, who, if you don't know, she's our 17-month-old baby,
17
toddler.
Months. Yeah.
And
she appeared on some of the first episodes of this podcast, if you haven't listened to them. So if you want to hear Lucille chime in, she chimes in the very first episode within like the first 2 minutes.
And I don't want to call her a challenge, but because we had her, and it's, traveling by car is a lot easier, or just maybe we need space and to get away from Lucille to have a break with just me and Nick, we've had to find places that weren't too far away because we didn't want to make my mom or anyone who was watching Lucille just be burdened by a lot of time. Like, we wanted to get away, but be able to come home in a reasonable time too, because we are obviously going to miss Lucille. So because of Lucille, it has opened her eyes to traveling less miles and realizing the amazing potential of the area within a 50 miles radius.
I think it's a good radius. There's so much within a 50-mile radius.
I could say even 20. I mean,
you have Baltimore, D.C., and Annapolis within a 50-mile radius. But yeah, when you even get it in further, like within our 10 to 20-mile radius, I mean, there's just so much stuff. Like I said, that one park was hidden away.
Yes.
never would have known that was there.
Exactly. So I think if it wasn't Lucille, who's like my biggest joy, my biggest challenge, then we would have never came upon all of these small gems around our area and really realize like how amazing this area is we live in, instead of always trying to get out of it. Now, I'm not saying that it's not fun to fly on a plane and go other places.
Oh, no, 'cause that's a lot of fun.
It is, but it's I think we always say like, oh, we don't have this vacation until this time, but we make these small getaways not that far away and these small day adventures because we realize there's so much potential in the area we live in that I think sometimes we forget about it because we're like, oh, this is our home. What's new and exciting about it? But there's so many amazing things in this area.
There really is. And, I'm excited to explore even more now that we have this mindset. It makes me want to kind of jump on Google Maps and, look for the next great adventure, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a park, an overnight stay somewhere. It could be even something adult fun like a brewery or something like that we just didn't know that was there. Or there's just a lot of things that we just haven't explored yet, so it makes me curious and it makes me want to kind of dig a little bit deeper to see what we can dive into.
Yeah, so if anybody is in the Maryland area and has some gems to share with us,
yes,
please send them our way.
Absolutely.
And I have listed just some of the places we've discovered because of having this mindset. And this isn't a place, but I noticed this for me. When I have a tourist mindset, I can look at sunrises and sunsets and be in awe at it no matter where I am. Like,
it's gorgeous. I mean, we see some really great sunsets just walking Lucille in the evening, and you're usually up to see the sunrise when you're driving to school, and I'm sure it's just amazing.
But it's funny when I think back, like when we went to Key West, it was like, that's the thing you do. You see the sunsets or the sunrises, because they're spectacular. But I'm like, why do I have to wait to be on vacation to enjoy the sunset or the sunrise? I could just walk outside and enjoy it. It's just, It's all about instilling that mindset that like, this is amazing, this is beautiful, and no matter where I am. I think sometimes we appreciate them more when we are on vacation, but if you imagine if we instilled that in our brains automatically, just imagine how much cooler everything would be to us.
Yeah, no, I mean, in this area, we get to see some pretty amazing sunrises and sunsets, just along the settings. I mean, we have a lot of trees, it's even cooler when there's clouds in the sky, even houses and stuff like that. I mean, it's beautiful.
It is. And I feel extremely grateful because I get to work and now the sun's coming up. And I think before I would just say, wow, it's really early, I'm going into work. Woohoo. But now I go into work like with even more joy and gratitude because I'm like, wow, like I may be at school, I may be at work, but damn, this sunrise is gorgeous. Like, it's just beautiful. So when anyone comes to me and says anything about like, hey, how are you doing? Good morning. I'm just like, have you seen that sunrise? Like, it's gorgeous. Just to like bring it back to...
Well, it instantly puts you in a great mood. Yeah. And your energy then rubs off on other people and people can see that positive energy. So yeah, maybe I need to make it a point to get up a little bit earlier and see the sunrise. Although as these days get shorter and we get closer to the first day of winter, might start seeing them again on my drive-in.
That is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you already covered, like, there are some restaurants that we didn't know existed that were close by. Some close getaways that we didn't realize until we had Lucille was just traveling to Frederick, Maryland, and
Boonesboro. And then we also took a trip over to, it wasn't Tillman Island, it was near there, though. That was actually our first night away from Lucille.
What was the name of that town?
Oh, man.
It's going to drive me nuts.
It is going to drive me nuts. But we stayed at this really, really, really old inn.
Yes.
That I think we were in the original part of the house, and some of the inn was in a part of the house that was built a little bit later.
Yeah.
But that place was just really cool, and it wasn't too far of a drive from us.
And I had no idea it was there. Like, we went down this...
Zero idea.
We drive down this road all the time, and then we made a turn, and then I was like, I had no idea this little town was back there, but I think my mom discovered it.
Yeah.
And she was like, you need to go there, and we did.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn.
It was definitely worth it, too.
It was.
We went kind of in like an off season because it is right on the Chesapeake Bay, and it wasn't as crowded as probably in season because there's like a ferry that goes from there to St. Michael's.
Yes.
But there was a lot of, you can tell that was a town where a lot of people have like their summer homes, and then
had a beach too.
Yeah, they had a little beach, but it's where they make their summer homes. So they're probably out there more in the summer, and then in the winter they're back out in their homes on our side of the bridge on the western shore.
And even by instilling this mindset, I find that I enjoy my commutes a lot more. Like, I actually pay attention to what's around me. You know how when we were in Oregon, we're like in awe by like the trees on the side of the highway, no matter
driving off the road out there.
And I'm realizing that I don't pay attention to what's on our highway anymore because I'm always on autopilot, going to work, coming home from work, going to work, coming home from work. But when I actually stop and pay attention, and I don't listen to music, and I don't listen to podcasts, I actually can be like, so the trees along 95 are pretty damn gorgeous. Some of the back roads I take, lovely.
Yeah.
And
especially
if actually,
this time of the year with being fall and the leaves turning and everything like that.
I think that's another thing. I think having a tourist mindset is the opposite of being on autopilot. And it's so difficult sometimes because when you have the same job for so long, you're taking the same commute over and over again. So I think we forget to pay attention to it. And I'm trying to stop and really be mindful of, you know, I'm grateful that I have this beautiful drive. Even if it isn't a highway, there's beautiful trees. I think just appreciating that, like, it just changes everything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
all right. You want to get into some resources?
I sure do.
All right.
So the resource today is a blog post I found, and it's called Embracing a Tourist Mindset, and it was thriveglobal.com, and we will...
Oh, that's a Huffington Post site. Yes.
We will put this on the show notes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share a quick little blurb because I really liked, I believe it was a female who wrote this blog post, but here it is. This experience has enabled me to redefine the concept of quote unquote tourism. I truly believe that tourism doesn't necessitate. Thank you. Resuscitate. I don't think I've ever used the word necessitate.
Only when I quote Wayne's World.
Oh, man. I truly believe that tourism doesn't necessitate distance or extravagant expenses. Tourism, at its core, lies in the attitude, a sense of curiosity and a hunger to learn and explore the places and people in the surroundings. It's a fresh sense of appreciation for the things that you encounter every day where you live.
Love it.
I think that kind of like embodied everything that we've discovered and are talking about.
That's exactly what our whole Eureka moment was about.
Yeah, so I really, really resonated a lot with that blog. So, yeah, I'll put it out there.
Want to do a little take action challenge?
Sure will.
Before we get in our quote of the day.
Your take action challenge is just to, look at your quote unquote normal and just try to cultivate that tourist mindset.
Yeah.
Have curiosity, have gratitude.
Seek out those
be
spots
humble.
that you haven't seen.
Yes. Yeah. I
explore your area.
I'm telling you, you're going to experience so much more joy when you have this mindset. It's insane.
I agree. It's been eye-opening for us.
For sure.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Jilly, that quote of the day. Get it, girl.
The quote of the day is by Henry Miller.
I don't know who that is.
He's an author.
Okay.
One's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
I do.
Yeah.
I have to think about it, but yeah, I get it.
Seriously, it's all about our mindset. Change your mindset, change your life.
That's what we've been preaching.
So much more happiness.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anyways, we want to thank everyone for listening this week. We really, really, really appreciate you. If you like this episode and want to share it with your friends, take a screenshot, put it on that social media, get the word out. And if you really love us, please, please, please give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast channel. It really helps us reach a larger audience. And we will talk to you again next week.
See you later, guys.
We want to thank everybody for listening today. Please be sure to subscribe and sign up to receive notifications so you know when the next episode is live. If you like today's episode and know someone who could benefit from the topic we covered, please
please share it with them. And if you have any suggestions for us or want to chime in on today's topic, you can email us at simplifiedchaospodcast@gmail.com, and that's chaos with a K, or send us a comment on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.